Hello, this is Mike Kroger here, Finale Inventory. So, you're a fireworks company or a fireworks related business, such as wholesale distribution or retail fireworks, and you want to check out Finale Inventory and what it can do for your fireworks business. Well, welcome to your Finale trial account. A couple of things you should know when you get this account. It is not by default set up for fireworks companies. It's kind of more of a general setup for what I would say non-pyrotechnic companies. So in this quick video, we want to make sure that you know how to set this trial up to be more firework specific. So as you see here, you're going to get this schedule-free training. We do encourage you to do that. So you can disable this. Then you're going to get a welcome screen that kind of walks you through what you should do first. And of course, with any inventory management system, you're going to be using our software to track what you have and where it is. So to begin to do that, the very first thing is to tell us what you have, which is going to be called products. So that normally, as you see here, we would guide you through, why don't you go try to do this and then try to do this. This is kind of presented in a normal order that you would need to do things in. If you notice that create a purchase order is step 4, it's not step 2. So in other words, you need to start with creating a product. Then you got to create suppliers from whom you buy those products. Then you probably want to bring in your existing stock levels, and then you would want to purchase more. So just kind of be cognizant of some of the tips that we give you, and we do those for a reason so that they go in a natural order. But we're going to dismiss this for right now. So I'm going to skip this assistance, and you'll see that you're in your trial account. Of course, it'll count down the number of days you have left, and you can sign and convert this up. And whether you are a display company, professional fireworks, wholesale importer distribution, or whether you are more of a consumer fireworks, retail fireworks or retail distribution fireworks. I want to show you a few things we need to get you on your way so that you know how to get the most out of Finale. So the number one thing I want you to do is to come up to the blue gear. We're going to go over here to find out where we can turn on all the fireworks specific features and functions. Now they're going to be in application settings, so I want you to go to application settings. And of course here you would load up your logo. That's easy to do, but we're not going to cover that now. But most important things here, if you're a fireworks customer, make sure you notice that there is a unit of measure. So if you're in the United States, you would want to leave this as English. If you're over across the big pond, you might want to switch it to metric so that it defaults in those manners. The other thing that's very important to do is your time zone. Don't leave it blank. Select your corresponding time zone. I'm just going to do a search for Central because I live in Central in the US, and I'll pick out that. Set up your time zone. Okay, this will be very important so that the UI behaves the way you expect to. That's one thing. Okay, now let's get into some of the more fireworks specific settings. So I need you to go to products. We're going to jump here so that we turn on all the firework related product fields. So these will be common fields used by those in the pyrotechnics industry. We're going to turn on case, width, height, and depth fields so that you can bring those values in. We're going to turn on use CBM per unit field. This is for your cubic measurements of the products that you might be importing. A lot of containers are calculated on CBM for their capacity. And this is a very useful field that we can use in Finale. This field is also used to do weighted landed average costing, meaning we can land the cost for your freight, duty, demurrage, tariff, all those costs you get for importing or bringing in fireworks to your door. You need to allocate that back to the cost of the fireworks. And this is a very good field to use for that purposes. If you notice over here, hazmat material code field. You need to turn that on because most likely if you are in business, you are in commerce. If you are in commerce, the DOT is very interested about those fireworks you are moving around. So I would go ahead and turn that field on. The other thing you probably want to do is turn on packing for tracking stock. Now this field here allows you to see the case, the ability to track quantity in cases and in units. So we're going to turn that feature on. We're going to keep on going down this field here. We're going to skip over some of the customizations for now, but you'll know that you can add your own fields here, custom fields into your products. Just one note here, do not add quantity fields. Quantity fields are built into Finale, so you don't add any sort of quantity fields. We'll cover those later in another video. So let's talk about, as we scroll down, we're going to go in here. We're just doing the basics in this video on how to set your account up for Pyrotechnics or fireworks. So we're going to keep on going down. There is lot identifiers. If you are doing any sort of professional fireworks, you are going to be held to a different standard. The ETF requires you to track date shift codes. You need to turn this on. Okay, so the lot field is where we store date shift codes, and it goes into this field called the lot. So we should turn that on for you right now. Down here under units per measure, just know that this is a human readable thing. If you want to see things, you can add units of measure, but we're going to skip that right now. Industry specific, this is the firework fields. So let's run through these real quick. You do need to turn on the manufacturer country field, because if you're in professional fireworks, they want to know, where did it come from? Did it come from China? Did it come from Italy, Spain, someplace else? So you need to turn that on. I would not use this manufacturer smart text field, so I'm going to skip that one. But you do, especially professional fireworks, you need to know the NEQ, the net explosive quantity of those fireworks. And also, this is a very important field for DOT. So let's turn this one on. Let's also use the EX number, because DOT likes that. If you're in the Europe, you would probably want to turn on the CE number field. Now, the section down here below, if you look at these, if you are very familiar with our other software product, Finale 3D, Finale Fireworks, that's the scripting software. So you definitely normally want to integrate Finale Inventory with Finale 3D. Let's go ahead and turn on all of these fields. So these fields are very useful in transmitting the data back and forth between us and Finale 3D. So I'm going to turn on all these fields. If you don't use Finale 3D, that's okay. You can leave these off if you like. There won't be any specific, but the caliber field might be useful to you if you're doing fireworks and you're not using Finale 3D. So I'd go ahead and turn it on, but there's no harm in turning these fields on. So I'm going to save my change. So up here in the upper right, you'll always notice there's messages and action buttons. So we've now enabled the firework specific fields for your products. Now there's other areas in here we need to turn on for fireworks companies, and they're going to be located over here under the screens field. So we're going to go here to screens. And we're going to check a few of these screens to turn on very firework specific things, especially for professional fireworks. Show ATF fields. So this is very important for you to track your acquisition records with the ATF. So turn those on. Notice that we're here in the supplier detail fields. We're also going to use hazmat contact fields. We're going to turn those on. Now, the next section we need to go to is just the same on suppliers. When you acquire regulated fireworks, you also are responsible for who you give them to, who you sell them to. So we're going to scroll down on this screen and find the customer section. So if I go to the customer screens, there you're going to see that we have a screen for you to see those as well. So I'm going to go and make sure that these fields are turned on. So I'm going to look at the ATF and the hazmat contact fields. That's going to be for your disposition records. As I also scroll on here, there's a section in application settings. We're going to turn some of these fields on so that they are visible to you. So down here, I've scrolled all the way down here to the bottom in application settings. We're going to show ATF fields and use ATF contact fields. what these two did for us, and I'll save the change, is over here on your company. Do you notice how now you can see that you would set up your ATF license number, expiration date, and hazmat contact fields? These will be used for DOT transportation documents, okay? So make sure you fill out all that information. So again, we were over here on some of the screen settings, making sure that you could see these very specific ATF fields, okay? So the next thing I want you to do is go to the Documents tab, and here under Documents, we're going to be enabling some older style reports for ATF regulations, and so these are still good if you're not professional fireworks. We're going to go down here to Report Settings, and over here we're going to enable the legacy reports. This is where you're going to get see some hazmat bill of ladings come on, and we're going to enable pyrotechnic reports, which basically gives you access to specific pyrotechnics type reports, so you don't see them by default. So what we turned on was this one right here, and when you go here, now that we've turned these industry specific reports, you'll see that there's a new pyrotechnics section where we talk about your ATF acquisition records and disposition records, your stock NEQs by sublocations. Sublocations are going to be magazines, so you've got to make sure that you don't overload magazines with too much fireworks, and this is where you're going to get them all. And then the DSMT, Daily Summary of Magazine Transactions, they are here in the Pyrotechnics section, and they're down here under Legacy ATF. Okay, so in this section is where you'll find the Legacy ATF reports. The only two reports here that you need to be concerned about are the Daily Summary of Magazine Transaction and the Daily Summary of Magazine Transactions with Product Detail. Do not use any of the other reports here. These other reports have been replaced. And if you go back to the pyrotechnic reports, you'll see that there are acquisition and disposition reports that you'll use instead of those legacy. The legacy only is used for DSMT. Okay, and we'll have another video on how to set up your account to use the DSMT records properly. So now that pretty much concludes how to set up your account for fireworks use. If you notice that you won't see a lot of change here, but you will see changes when you get to your product screen and you create your reports. Your product and import your product data. So if you were to import product data now, if we take you to the import screen, you're going to be able to see some of the new fields that we turned on. So a lot of them are such as the NEQ per unit, which is a per unit weight of NEQ, and you have your gross weight per unit, and then so on. And we turned on a lot of these fields, your hazmat material code. Your hazmat material code will be UN0334335, that sort of thing, UN0431. So you enter that code in when you import. UEX numbers can also be imported. You can see all the Finale 3D related fields that we enabled. So that pretty much sets up the initial settings that you need to make to your account to make sure that it's fireworks specific. Look for other videos that go into deeper detail. Thanks.